For centuries, the silent armada drifted in the void between the Helian stars and the dark gulf beyond. Millions of metallic hulls stretched across the emptiness like frozen mountains. These colossal ships formed the legendary ancient fleet, a relic from a forgotten era when civilizations flourished and fell before the current. Empires learned to crawl among the stars. Countless delegations arrived over the ages to claim its power. None succeeded. The fleet remained still. The elders of many species whispered that the fleet held its own will. The more skeptical dismissed it as a dead machine cemetery. Yet the rumors persisted. It was said that somewhere deep inside the flagship lay a core heart that slumbered with purpose, waiting for someone worthy enough to awaken it. When the Coalition Council announced that another expedition would attempt contact, most dismissed it as yet another pointless venture. But this time, the team included one human woman named Mira. Her role was minor at first glance. She was there as a systems analyst, chosen for her uncommon instinct with dormant technology. Humans had gained a reputation as unpredictable innovators. Some races admired that. Others distrusted it. The expedition ship, the Radiant, cut through the void toward the frozen titan that marked the core of the ancient fleet. The alien crew consisted of Helian scholars, Varine engineers, Keth observers, and one human. Myra kept mostly to herself. She had learned long ago that many species respected humans only from a distance. When the Radiant docked with the flagship's outer hull, the boarding crew moved with reverent caution. A thick gate sealed the entry, pristine despite thousands of years of exposure. Every prior attempt by other expeditions had failed to penetrate the gate's power field. But when the Radiant arrived, the gate shimmered. The field flickered. Then the massive door parted without being commanded. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Myra stepped forward quietly. She felt something like a distant hum pressing behind her thoughts. It was faint but persistent, almost like a breeding dot inside. The halls were vast and cold. No dust, no decay. Metal and crystal blended into smooth surfaces that hummed with ancient patterns. The walls glowed faintly at their approach. The alien scholars moved quickly to take readings. Mira touched nothing. She simply watched the shifting light as if trying to understand a silent message. The team advanced deeper into the ship, following mapping drones that glided ahead. After hours of exploration, the scholars found nothing resembling a control center. Only endless corridors and chambers sealed with symbols no device could decipher. The crew grew restless. They were about to retreat when one chamber shifted its walls, revealing a narrow passage, glowing with pale blue light. The Varine leader frowned at the readings. No known energy signature matched the pattern. The Keth observers warned that the structure might be alive. The Helian scholars debated turning back. Myra walked past them without waiting for approval. The passage brightened as she stepped inside. The crew hesitated, then followed. The passage led to a circular chamber with a raised platform. At its center floated a crystalline sphere, large enough to dwarf a transport shuttle. It pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Lines of light ran through its surface, converging toward the platform dot. No one spoke. Even the boldest of them felt the weight of age and purpose pressing through the chamber. Something in the air recognized presence. The Helian leader activated a translator device and attempted several forms of greeting. The sphere did not respond. Varine tools probed the structure, but found no openings. The Keth specialists declared that the chamber held dormant system consciousness beyond their comprehension. Everything pointed toward another failed attempt. Myra stepped onto the platform without speaking. Alarms sounded from the scanners, but she ignored them. The crew called her back, but she kept walking. A soft vibration tinkled at her feet. The crystalline sphere brightened. The scholar shouted warnings, but the platform emitted a gentle wave of light that pushed the others back. Mira remained still at its center, Her heartbeat slowed as the chamber hushed itself around her. The sphere pulsed in rhythm with her breath. One voice filled the space. It was not sound. It resonated directly through thought. It lacked emotion, yet felt alive. Identified. Myra did not panic. She closed her eyes and answered with calm. Clarity. Human. Researcher. Explorer. The presence sifted through her thoughts. Like a silent wind. Confirm purpose. To understand. Sphere pulsed once brighter. Human species. Assessing potential. Assessing memory. Assessing persistence. Myra felt images flow into her mind. Not visions from her own past, but from the countless failed delegations before her. She saw creatures begging the fleet for power. She saw warriors threatening to take control. She saw leaders trying to awaken the armada for conquest. She saw scholars pleading for knowledge they could not comprehend. Then the presence asked, again, human Myra, do you desire power? No. Do you desire control? No. Then what is your goal? To learn this place. To honor it. To solve its silence. To give voice to what it has guarded for ages. There was a long pause. The pulse stopped. The light dimmed. The crew panicked, but the wave around the platform held them back. Mira remained calm. Finally, the chamber brightened once more. Human Myra, you meet the criteria. The fleet accepts you. The sphere opens slowly, unfolding like petals of radiant metal. A column of light extended to the platform. Mira felt no fear as it touched her forehead. Her senses expanded. She felt the entire flagship breathe awake. She felt 1,000 dormant ships in the fleet stir. Their systems recognized her presence as if welcoming a long-awaited traveler. The alien crew watched in awe as the chamber walls shifted. Ancient symbols reformed into clear patterns. The radiance interfaces lit up with streams of decoded data that had remained locked for ages. The flagship began to power itself. The entire fleet shimmered across the void in response. When the light withdrew, Myra staggered slightly, but remained conscious. She stepped down from the platform. The protective field vanished. The sphere returned to its slow pulse, but the entire chamber now glowed brightly. The scholars cried out with shock. The energy signatures rising from the fleet were unlike any known technology. The radiance instruments detected power surging across thousands of vessels. What had been silent graveyards turned into breathing giants. The Helian leader asked what the fleet had shown her. Myra paused. She tried to find words without violating the trust given to her. She answered carefully. Showed me why it slept. It waited for someone who asked to learn rather than command. It waited for someone who respected what came before them. The Varine engineers asked if the fleet was theirs to use now. Myra shook her head. No, it will not follow conquest. It will only follow a path that preserves rather than destroys. The crew exchanged uncertain looks. Their mission had been diplomatic, but they understood that such power would tempt their council. Myra sensed this and added more firmly. The fleet chose me, not the council. Not any empire. It will respond only to one who seeks understanding. As the team processed her words, the ship spoke again through the walls. This time the message appeared visually, forming symbols that Myra could read instinctively. The flagship informed her that the fleet carried archives of worlds long lost, histories forgotten by time, and knowledge too vast for any single species to claim. It offered to guide her through its halls whenever she was ready. When the Radiant returned to the Coalition Council, everything changed. Delegates from dozens of species demanded explanations. They questioned why a human had been chosen over their own scholars. Some accused Myra of trickery. Others feared her new connection to the fleet. Myra stood before them with steady posture. She explained the truth as plainly as she could. The fleet is not a weapon. It is a legacy. It will not obey coercion. It will not serve war. It will awaken only to one whose purpose aligns with preservation. The delegates murmured in frustration. Many had hoped to claim dominance. Some feared that the balance of power had shifted toward humans. Mira refused those assumptions. The fleet does not belong to my species. It entrusted itself to me alone, not as an owner, but as a caretaker. That her words calmed some, but angered others. The council demanded proof that she could control the fleet if needed. Mira answered with quiet strength, I do not control it. I converse with it. That is the difference. She invited representatives from all species to witness the fleet awakening firsthand. Despite hesitation, they agreed. Several ships traveled with the Radiant toward the ancient fleet. Upon arrival, the delegates watched as the armada shimmered in coordinated light patterns. The flagship opened its docking gates automatically when Myra approached. When the delegates tried to follow before she stepped inside, the gates sealed only when Mira entered first. Did the doors open again for the others inside? The halls brightened at her presence. The delegates realized quickly that the fleet recognized a single authority, not through power. Through trust. Myra guided them to the central chamber. The crystalline sphere pulsed warmly. The delegates attempted greetings. The sphere remained silent. Myra stepped forward. The sphere brightened. The chamber came alive. The message displayed across the walls was unmistakable. Chosen representative confirmed. Others may enter as guests only. The delegates bowed their heads in reluctant understanding. Some felt humbled. Some felt defeated. But none could deny the truth.